So I just came for a little walk on the beach, and as I was sitting here being immersed in this beautiful golden light and really feeling the frequencies of the sun and feeling these intense plasma frequencies, I just kind of went on a little journey in my head, as I often do, losing myself in my own thoughts and my own imagination. But yeah, I kind of got to thinking about what's going on in the world at the moment from a higher perspective, from a bigger picture perspective. And what I witness as a teacher and healer doing this high level work, I know most of you who watch this will be familiar with the work that I'm doing, working with the higher light, and kind of helping people to open themselves up to these possibilities, you know, being able to access and reopen or reconnect themselves to their multidimensional gifts, and opening the higher channels and accessing the higher channels, accessing their spiritual intelligence, the higher intelligence. And so, yeah, it kind of got me thinking again, just coming back to observing the 3D dimension, observing the 3D world, the physical world, and kind of what's going on collectively, that most of the world is really plugged into the control matrix, you know, the controlling forces. And it's really hard for some because of the cognitive dissonance that they experience, and also the energetic dissonance that people experience as a result of the awakening processes. And so people they kind of wake up and they acknowledge and they can see what's going on, but it's just too difficult, it's too uncomfortable. So they choose to kind of turn away from it, if you like. I guess you could say, yeah, that they're turning away from it. Because it is easier. It's really difficult going through all these phases of everything that we've been taught, and everything that we've learned, and everything that we've experienced this far, as a lot of it's just been based on lies and falsities. So I'm not going to get too much into this because I want to focus on the actual light part of what's happening. So what I wanted to talk about in brief was about the importance of keeping our higher channels open, the higher portalways and our lower portalway, because these are access points for us to be able to receive the frequencies that we are being flooded with at the moment. You know, the plasma frequencies, which are really healing. They're very healing frequencies, and they're also, what these plasma frequencies are doing is creating the DNA accretion. You know, our DNA is becoming more activated. You know, we're having more available strands of our DNA are being activated, where previously, over the last few hundred years, the most of humanity has been functioning on a very limited DNA template. So these plasma frequencies that are coming in at the moment are activating and creating this DNA accretion, and which means, yeah, our DNA's rising, we are changing, the physical body's changing, our energy body's changing, lots of things are changing. And people who are not even on a spiritual path are receiving lots of information, lots of intelligence, and they are kind of waking up to what is going on around them because of this. So it's not, you know, you don't have to be on a spiritual path or an awakened path to receive these frequency shifts. But of course it helps if you are, and you can work with them and, you know, create the space in your body, the space that your body needs to be able to hold these frequencies without the body experiencing overwhelm, because of course we can have physical overwhelm. You know, the physiological side of the body may not be prepared, you know, if we're used to, you know, people are eating a lot of rubbish, you know, we live in a fast-paced society, so people are eating on the go and maybe not eating as healthy as they should be, so the body can experience a little bit of overwhelm when we start to experience the DNA accretion. And so how we can help to move this along is by keeping the higher channels open. So again, coming back to the higher portal ways, the access points for us receiving these frequencies from the cosmos, and of course the frequencies from the earth, because we need the earth electrons in our body, and so we're receiving both these frequencies through our channels. And when we can keep these channels open and we're allowing this energy into our body, then working with it somatically, to do, not just working on a higher level by focusing on keeping the channels open, but working somatically as well, doing practices that will help the body to open, like whether it's yoga or breath work or qigong, anything where we're consciously doing, just even if it's just gentle somatic practices, but we can actually help the body to the channels within the body to stay open, so we can integrate these higher frequencies. And we're integrating the frequencies from the higher planes and integrating the frequencies from the lower planes, because of course the lower planes are, you know, the organic and the inorganic planes that are below us. You know, the crystalline energies, the crystalline frequencies, because our body is made up of the same compounds, the same minerals. So we can receive a lot of healing energy from the earth, as well as the you know, what we're receiving from, you know, from the higher frequencies, the cosmic frequencies, the stars, the planets, and yeah, the electromagnetic energies and frequencies that we are made up of. You know, we are made up of all of the same compounds from within the cosmos and the earth. So it's really important that we integrate these frequencies and we can become one with these frequencies. So what's going on at the moment is the controlling forces are polluting the atmosphere. It seems to me, what I've been observing is they've ramped up the pollutants within the environments. Again, I don't want to go too much into this because I don't want to start bringing in this negativity, this frequency, but they are spraying a lot more in the skies, and they're doing this because they are aware that all of these pollutants block our channels. You know, everything that we're receiving from within our environments, it serves to block us. And I'm not saying they're just doing it for this, but they're kind of working behind the guise of climate change. So they're spraying the skies because what they're saying is that, you know, all these higher frequencies, this radiation that we're receiving from the sun, we're having a lot of solar flares at the moment, a lot of CMEs, a lot of gases from the sun that are kind of pulsing and projecting radiation into the atmosphere. And so the they are saying that, you know, when they're spraying the skies, this is kind of protection, but this is what the Earth's atmosphere is for. You know, the Earth's atmosphere is in place. It's a natural, organic substance that's in place to protect us from, you know, from these, from the Earth, this radiation from the sun. So, to me, it's pretty much bullshit. I call bullshit on this. What they are doing is they're trying to prevent the frequency accretion, because frequency accretion results in DNA accretion. DNA accretion results in higher states of consciousness, people waking up, people receiving spiritual intelligence. So when I stepped on to this path, the spiritual path, about 18 years ago now, I guess I started with meditation, and that just opened up a lot of channels for me to receive the information that's available to all of us. You know, everything that we are told by, whether it's other teachers or information that we're receiving from the ancients, from all these amazing sages and gurus that we've had access to around the world. We have all of this knowledge available to us if we can just quieten ourselves and plug ourselves into source to actually receive this information. And so I trust, when I receive downloads of intelligence and information, I trust that when I'm receiving this, because I know that I've been around for multiple hundreds, if not thousands of lifetimes already, within the 3D plane, within the Earth, and outside of the Earth plane, within our galaxy and outside of our galaxies. Most of us, we're star travelers, and you know, we're here for a reason now, and the reason that we are here is to help the shifts in consciousness that Earth has chosen and agreed to, on a kind of deeper soul planetary level. And so this information is accessible for all of us because we know all of it already. However, each of our lifetimes, we now have our memory wiped. And again, this is a soul agreement, something that we agreed to hundreds of thousands of years ago, that this was going to be the way. And so our memory is wiped, so we can't remember physically. You know, our mental memory has been dissipated, but we still hold all of these lifetimes of memory and intelligence within our soul blueprint, because our soul blueprint doesn't die. We are an energy, and I know whether you choose to believe this or not, you know, our energy is it's an infinite source of quantum energy. We are part of the quantum field. You know, we are expressions of the quantum field, expressions of the universe. And the universe expresses through us as we express through the universe. It's a mutual, it's a universal law. And so we've been around all these years, multiple lifetimes. So we have access. We've lived through, most of us, and I know I have, because I've had many. When I do regressions, I have many stories of many lifetimes, and I know I've lived through multiple wars. And I've lived through famines and natural disasters. I've lived through Stargate wars, intergalactic wars. I've experienced all of it, as I know most of you will have. And we have access to all of this information. If we can keep our channels open and clear and do the necessary healing work that we need to do, then we can access all of this information. So this is why I do the work that I do, and I know most of you are aware of the work that I do working with the Akashic Records, and it was only when I stepped onto the path of working within the Akash that I leveled up. And so I started working with the Akashic Record in 2013, and I found it super fascinating, but I guess I wasn't really ready for that level of information. And so I really started stepping into it again. I just naturally started working with it in 2016 again. the healings that I were doing at the time started to get really powerful for my clients. A lot of my clients were asking me, what am I suddenly doing that's changed, because my energies have just shifted. And I said, the only thing that I'm doing now is plugging into the Akashic record, and I was receiving a lot of information. So anyway, this is why I do the work that I do. And as I'm evolving and as I'm shifting in consciousness, my work is shifting, and of course the clients that are coming to me are shifting, and I'm now starting to work at a really high frequency. And so what's become apparent to me over the last probably 2 or 3 years since I've been teaching the Akashic record trainings, that the frequencies that are now available to us, so powerful. And we can do so much so quickly. We're manifesting super quickly, like never before. We just need to think about something and it's manifested. And so this inspires me to continue to share this work even more. And again, the reason I am doing this, the reason I am sharing this work even more, and suddenly being called to do little bits of little healings here and there, and offer introductions to people, because this work really needs to be out there. Because what we're facing now is we're kind of on the edge of the timeline splitting. You know, the world is splitting. Most of you are aware the world is splitting, and it's basically, we're kind of moving into it's the dark or the light. And I don't mean that as in the dark being the negative, but what's happening within the control matrix. Again, what they're doing at the moment, ramping up their agendas, is because they're aware of the shifts in consciousness. You know, they know all of this. They know it all. They know way more than I can even know or imagine. You know, they really have access to a lot of this information. And a lot of the battles for land, things that are happening in Africa and in Iran and the Middle East and all of this Ukraine-Russia story, these are all attempts to control the earth portals. And I'm not going to get too deep into this right now on this session, because this might just be a little bit too much for some people. I want to keep it a little bit grounded. But I'm going to be talking about this. I'm going to be doing, when I do my advanced training in October, November, I'm going to be going into all the portals and the planetary, galactic and the universal stargates, and what's going on in reference to this. But that'll be in my advanced Akashic training. So first you need to go through the basic training, because what we're doing in the basic training is clearing all of the distortion that we have experienced and picked up and agreed to on a soul level, consciously or unconsciously, from within the 3D matrix, within our physical realm, the planet that we're on at the moment, and what we're doing, what we've been experiencing throughout these lifetimes. So we need to clear all of this to be able to access these higher states and these cosmic states and do all the cosmic work. So yeah, all of the attempts to, all of the wars and things that we're seeing with society, particular societies and cultures, yeah, these are all attempts to take over these countries because of the portals, and of course the fuels and things that they have access to. So it's a lot bigger than cultural wars and religion and things like this. These are just little distractions and little stories, falsified stories and lies. But the bigger story is it's the land that they want control of, and they want the control of the land because these are access points to the higher planes. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it. So my point is, when the timeline split happens, which is, they're talking about next year, November 2023, then people are going to have to make a conscious choice. And sorry, we've got a something going on behind me. We're going to all be faced with a conscious choice of the which path we're going to take. We can either stay sleeping, or we can actively follow or choose the path of consciousness, higher consciousness. So yeah, so we basically, yeah, this is what it's all about, just making this choice. Again, I'm not going to go too much into it because I will be talking about it on the training, and again, I don't want to lose people. When I start talking about this stuff, I can see people's eyes glazing over because it's too high frequency for people to be able to integrate. It's really, yeah, it's another level of information. Even when I started going down this rabbit hole myself a couple of years ago, was a lot for me as well, but resonates so much because I know I've lived through these times before, as we all have. So again, all we're doing is we are reawakening and reconnecting ourselves, and that's what I'm doing with my work, with the Akashic work and the alchemy work. It's just to help people to reawaken and to recode, because we have been, with all the indoctrination that we've experienced, we have had our body templates have been distorted, and they've been coded with distortion. So what the work I'm doing now is recoding, and I'm just facilitating and guiding people through processes. Their body will receive what they need to receive based on where they are at within their level of consciousness. So I'm guiding people through processes of activations and reawakening and recoding their DNA, recoding their energy body systems, plugging people into source, reconnecting people to source, because most of humanity have been disconnected from source. They've allowed themselves to be disconnected from source. They've had their their pineal gland, their third eye, which is our receiver and transmitter of spiritual intelligence. We are actually we are walking portals. We are receivers and transmitters of cosmic and planetary light and cosmic and planetary frequency and energy, and we're constantly receiving and transmitting information from within our environment. And the body integrates the frequencies and the information that we are receiving from within our environment, and it transmits it, it circulates it, and then it re-emits it, and it kind of goes through like a filter, a process, if you like, and then it kind of sends it back out into the environment. So when we can plug ourselves into source and we can actually tap into that intelligence, then we can see beyond the lies and the illusions. The veils are becoming thinner and thinner and thinner for people as people's frequency is being accreted, as people's DNA is being accreted. The veils are becoming more and more thin, and so people are seeing, and they are calling out the bullshit. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. So if this work resonates with you, if what I'm talking about resonates with you, this weekend I'm doing a 1 hour Akashic higher light healing, where I'm going to take you on a journey to open and clear your higher channels, so we can allow these frequencies into the body and allow the body systems, the 4 body systems, the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, to upgrade and to receive the energies that they need to receive, for the body to go through its own accretion process. And so this is what I'm doing on Saturday, and also we'll be doing some Akashic guidance. So I'll be connecting you to your higher self, and you could guiding you through a process to tap in and access your Akashic records. So first we need to clear the channels to be able to tune into the Akashic records, because the Akashic record they exist within the 5th dimensional plane. So we need to meet the energy at the same level of consciousness. So there'll be a little process that I'll take you through, and then you can ask any questions. You know, the Akashic record is all about, it's all your it's recorded consciousness, basically. You know, everything, all our lifetimes of experiences, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, everything is recorded within our own personal individualized quantum fields within our consciousness, and so we have access to that. And so when we can plug in to this frequency and we can ask we're tuning in and asking our higher self for guidance, because our higher self is a higher version of ourselves that has lived throughout multiple lifetimes, who's living throughout living in higher dimensional planes, in multiple parallels, past, present, future. So our higher self has no agenda other than to serve us and to lead us. And so our higher self is constantly trying to communicate with us, because if he, she, or it could be an energy, a frequency, it could be a spirit animal, it could be a divine feminine, a divine masculine being. So our higher self will step in and try to guide us when he, she sees us, when we're maybe stepping off path or stepping out of alignment. The higher self can step in and try to guide us, gently guide us. But of course, because a lot of people have got their channels are blocked, they're not able to discern the information that they're receiving from their lower ego self to the information they're receiving from their higher self. So sometimes they're not sure if they're being manipulated by the ego, and sometimes it can just be that people are not able to hear the information because they're so blocked. So yeah, the work I do is to basically teach people tools and techniques and doing this high level work so they can have access to all of this higher guidance and the cosmic downloads. And so what happened to me in January, just before I finish, I had the most incredible experience, and it actually was a little bit scary in the beginning. And I heard somebody else, another teacher, talking about this recently that happened to him about 3 weeks ago. For those of you who might know Tim Wilde, he talked about this, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago on one of his lives. But I had this in January. I was just sitting watching a movie one evening, just relaxing, and my vision just went really blurred, and I started seeing all these like rainbow colours, and it was like a kaleidoscopic spiraling in my left eye. And my left eye went blind. I literally couldn't see anything. I just had this really fast spiraling kaleidoscopic energy, and eventually it spread into my right eye and I couldn't see. I was blind, and my initial reaction was, I was really scared because I couldn't see. But I also knew at the same time that I'm having an activation, or there's something happening. Just receiving some download, or some activation, another pathway is opening, a higher pathway that I've not experienced before. And so this is a result of all the work that I guess I do. But yeah, it lasted about 40 minutes, and I just had to lie down and surrender to it because I was unable to do anything. I literally couldn't see. As I mentioned, initially I went into this fear, but I just relax, it's okay, breathe, it'll be fine. So I closed my eyes. When I closed my eyes, it got worse, it intensified. But I just pushed through, and I just kept breathing, and I was just asking, higher self, just show me what this is, show me what's going on, allow me, whatever I'm receiving, allow me to integrate it with ease and grace, turn it down a level, just allow it to be a little bit more gentle. So yeah, I just asked for the frequency to be turned down a little bit. Anyway, after 40 minutes it passed. Had a little bit of a headache, and then eventually I went to sleep. But man, since this point I have been receiving so many downloads of just information I don't know what to do with. I have to write it all down, and I keep thinking I'm going to do a live on this and a live on that and a live, and I get all these visions and information of multiple future lives, past lives, other dimensions, but yeah, I haven't done anything with it at the moment because yeah, it's a little bit crazy. I think I was trying to process it myself actually. But what I experienced following that, a month later, I did a past life regression. I allowed myself to be guided on a past life regression, which I don't normally do. But I allowed this woman to guide me on this beautiful journey, and I went into this space where it wasn't actually a past life, but I did go into another dimension, and I actually met my avatar, and I saw myself as this beautiful intergalactic being that was in clearly another dimension. And I asked her who she was, and of course it was me. She was my avatar, and her name was actually Mia in this dimension. So super interesting that my name in this lifetime is Mia. I mean, Mia's actually my middle name, but everybody knows me by Mia because I guess I resonate more with my middle name, with Mia. So this kind of made sense to me when I met my avatar and I realized her name is Mia. So now I understand why the last 20 years that I've preferred, or people naturally started calling me Mia, and I've just resonated with it. So I did change my name to be Mia. So yeah, what I asked her to show me, you know, what we're doing, what's going on, and she basically told me that I'd come here for a particular mission on this planet, and she showed me what my mission was. And again, I was receiving, my mission was to receive intelligence from the earth and feed it back to, I don't know, whomever I was feeding it back to up there, to the higher consciousness, to the higher dimensions. So I'm not going to go too much into it, but it was really beautiful. It was a really beautiful journey, and I just saw my body I was receiving all these codes and frequencies through my feet and transmitting them through my fingers, and I was in this trance, so I wasn't aware what was going on. But the woman who was facilitating, who was guiding me, said she'd never experienced anything like it, and she said I was doing this with my fingers, and all these, and I saw all these light codes were from all my fingers and my toes. So I was receiving it through my toes, through my feet, and then I was transmitting it through my fingers up into consciousness. So yeah, it was fascinating. So she sent me the video to actually watch it, but I still haven't watched it yet. That was in February, I think. And then after that I went really deep into a ego, death, rebirth, dark night of the soul, all combined. I went through in March. It started on right at the beginning of March, the 1st of March, I guess. So officially the first day of spring, when the light starts changing, and then on the spring equinox I went really deep into another level of healing that I've never experienced before, which was, yeah, definitely a dark passage. But I emerged through the other side after after 3-4 weeks of really challenging. As I say, it was something I've never experienced before on a physical level. It's physically challenging, mentally challenging. But yeah, all of these things happen for a reason, and now I'm in a new frequency, and it's all about frequency accretion, frequency shifting. So the more we're clearing our channels, the more we're actually doing all of this work. So I'm going to end it here, because now there's going to be another little boat going to go past me. So this is wrapping it up at the right time. So I hope you can all come and join me on Saturday. It will be it's just a 1 hour, and it's a little taster to what you can experience if you join the Akashic Foundation training on the end of June, which is a 2-day, it's an online 2-day event, and it's kind of 4 hours on a Saturday and Sunday morning. and we're going to be going a lot deeper. I'm going to be taking you on a journey, and then at the end of July is the Akashic practitioner training. So yeah, and that's a super deep journey. That's a 10 weeks online deep dive into the Akashic records, and yeah, very deep. It's intense, and you can check out my testimonials and videos on my website, to what other participants have said about it. It's very, very powerful work. It's really deep work, and that's a 10-week journey. So this weekend, a little taster, a little healing and guidance taster, and then the end of June, a 2-day foundation, which is going to be deeper, a little bit deeper, and then at the end of July the Akashic practitioner. So with the Akashic practitioner, it's 4 weekends, but the first weekend is we're doing all our self-healing, all the inner alchemy and the activations and all of this deep inner work first, to prepare our body to be able to read the Akashic records for other people. So if you're interested in a new career path, and you want to step into healing and working online, because what this work has actually given to me is to allow me to be able to work online and work from beautiful places like this, living in Thailand. I've been here for about 4.5 years now, and I'm about to head back to Europe, and I'm going to go to Greece and then to Spain and Portugal, and I'm going to be teaching these courses from over there. But yeah, it's allowed me to take my healing and teaching and coaching online full time. So this is what I'm teaching in the 10-week training. So teaching you how to do this for yourself, and yeah, maybe if you're not already a healer or a coach, just stepping into a new way of working and taking your business online so you can reach more people. So yeah, if you're called, drop me a message and we can have a chat. Hop onto my website, it's miarenna.com. I'll pop the link in the comments below, and yeah, hope to hear from you. So sending you lots of love. Any questions, or if you liked this little video, went on a little bit longer than I expected. But yeah, if you like this video, drop me a love or a like, a little comment, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Anything you want to share, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you again. So happy day to you. It's Tuesday, right? So happy Tuesday, and I'm going to send lots of love to you from Thailand, and it's sun's just gone down. So yeah, lots of love.